Recently, I decided to sell my iPad Pro, and this was a tough decision for me considering how often I use it as a designer and someone who really enjoys drawing. The iPad is in many ways the perfect companion device. However, lately I've sort of found myself using it less and less for a few different reasons. The iPad I had was the 2018 11-inch iPad Pro with 64 gigabytes of RAM. And though it was plenty powerful, I often found myself running into the issue of storage due to the amount of files that I need to have on my iPad. I work from home most days, but recently the company I work for just moved to a new location, so lately I've been going into the office more and more. Though the 11-inch iPad was a great device, it often felt cumbersome whenever I would carry it around. I decided that if I was going to continue using an iPad, there were first a few boxes that it needed to check, and surprisingly, the iPad mini did just that. This is the 6th generation iPad mini with 256 gigabytes of storage in the beautiful starlight color. I actually found it as an open box item on Amazon for like a little over $450, and honestly, it's been an amazing purchase. One of the biggest things I needed from my new device was storage, and though I don't use a ton of apps, there are a lot of files that I need natively on my iPad, such as fonts and Procreate files. Over time, these files can really eat up space on your iPad, so I went ahead and invested in the larger iPad mini size. I do wish that there were more storage options, but for now, 256 gigabytes is plenty. Oftentimes, I attend meetings for work and I need to jot down, a few quick notes, and the iPad mini just feels like the perfect device for that. For a few weeks, I actually tried writing all of my notes inside this tiny field notes book with, not a ton of real estate space, and it only took a few days to get used to it, and now I don't feel like I could go back to writing in a normal sized notebook. There's something just so convenient about being able to jot down just a few things and then pocket that away for later. The iPad mini is pretty close in size and just feels really good in the hands. Like I was saying before, the 11-inch iPad was a great device. It just felt like sometimes I would stray away from using it due to its size. It just didn't feel convenient to use for me. I'm someone who really likes to draw when I'm sitting on the couch or I'm on the go. And because of the iPad mini size, it just feels like the perfect device to do that. There's something about the size of this thing that just makes drawing fun and less intimidating. It's sort of like if someone handed you a sticky note and asked you to draw something. It's a little bit more manageable and just feels like you can doodle on it. As opposed to if someone handed you a giant sheet, poster-sized sheet of paper and wanted you to draw something really cool, you'd probably feel a little more intimidated to do so. I've sort of noticed this effect when drawing on my girlfriend's 12.9-inch iPad. There's something about the size of it that feels like whatever I draw on it needs to be perfect. I need to plan out what I'm drawing and really, I'm hesitant to get started drawing. Where with the iPad mini, you just pick it up and you doodle. It feels so inviting. The iPad mini just sort of feels like a more relaxed drawing experience, if that makes sense. I will say though, if you are someone looking to create massive works of digital art, high detail, high resolution, then maybe the iPad mini isn't for you. But for the casual artist, note taker, and Sunday doodler, this thing's really great. There is this saying along the lines that the best camera is the one you have with you, and I think that's why there's an argument to your phone camera being better than, your fancy DSLR, and it's because it's better to have a camera with you than not have a camera at all. And I sort of think the same thing can be applied to the iPad mini. You could have the most spec'd out 12.9-inch iPad Pro, but if it's sitting at home while you're at work or at the cafe or on the go, then it's not really doing you any good. With the iPad mini, because of its size, I find myself picking it up and using it more and more. It's just really enjoyable to have with me. I truly feel like the iPad mini has sort of become an extension of me and my workflow instead of this device that I feel like I have to lug around in order to get work done. I am currently in the process of looking for a really good sling bag to fit my iPad mini and some other accessories. So if you have any recommendations, please leave them down in the comments below. I would really appreciate it. It's funny because bedtime has actually become one of my favorite things with my iPad mini. Before, with my larger 11-inch iPad, it sort of lived in my office on my desk. You know, it felt a little too large to take with me to bed or, you know, to draw with on the couch. And now with the iPad mini, it just feels like a perfect device where I can lay in bed, do some doodles, watch some YouTube, read a book, and just sort of unwind at the end of the day. It truly feels like the iPad mini has transformed my workflow and has honestly become one of my favorite purchases I've ever made. I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've made a video, but I'm really looking forward to creating some more content, making some more tutorials, and maybe even featuring the iPad mini and how I use it as a designer and creative professional. If that sounds good to you, let me know in the comments below and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you later. Bye.